Hi, I'm Nate. This is my first YouTube video. I kind of got inspired to start doing YouTube because of my two siblings who decided to start doing a Wheel of Time podcast. And I recently was featured in one of their videos, and I really enjoyed it. So I think I'm going to start making content myself about Wheel of Time. And I figured what better place to start than reviewing the books, because I'm a first time reader and I'm about a quarter of the way through the fifth book. I'm really enjoying that so far. I like the fourth book a lot. So it has been about 5-6 months since I finished Eye of the World, so this is going to be kind of it's not going to be a very in-depth review, and I'm not going to remember a lot of stuff, unfortunately. So the first thing I want to talk about is the prologues. I don't care for any of the prologues so far, so I'm probably not going to talk about them a lot in these reviews, probably just going to ignore them. So the first thing I want to talk about is Rant, because I, unlike most of the community that I have seen, love Rand and still love Rand and will continue to love Rand no matter what throughout all these books, because he's hot. What else can I say? Also, he is. I'm a bit of a weeb, so that whole entire power fantasy really enjoy that. So then, next thing I want to talk about is Iguain. So my sister absolutely loves Iguain, is constantly like, Nate, you might not like her in the first couple books, but you're gonna love her, you're gonna love her. And in the first book, I have to say, she doesn't seem to really have her own identity. She seems to kind of, she knows that she wants to be a powerful woman, and she seems to latch on to whoever the most powerful woman around her is. And this is just the first book. I'm not going to get into how I feel about her later, but in the first book, I feel like she is very much just a follower, and I don't like her. I want her to start thinking for herself, because everyone who talks to me about these books is like, Nate, it is all about women being powerful. And I'm like, all right, cool. I want to see women being powerful. Like, I love female empowerment. I know that sounds like I'm pandering, but I actually really do. And Nynaeve. Oh my god, Nynaeve. Every single one of these videos, you will hear me complain about Nynaeve because I hate her. She is the most stubborn, most arrogant, most awful person in the entire world. So Nynaeve in this book just refuses to be left behind. She refuses to give up authority. Like, even though Moraine and Lan clearly know what they're doing, and Tom, Tom tags along from the beginning, is all of them know more about the world, and yet Nynaeve is like, I'm in charge. I'm the boss, and it's just like, Nynaeve, shut the fuck up. So Perrin in this first book is interesting. It very much is him talking about how he is quiet, likes to think things out, doesn't act a lot, and people think he's dull because of that and all that. I like Perrin a lot, and in this book he's good. Like, he's solid. He, Unfortunately, this entire book basically focuses on Rand, so you don't get a lot from the other characters. But yeah, Perrin, he learns about his wolf powers, and I'm trying to remember if he kills a white cloak in this book or if that's in the second book. But, like, I think that is in this book. Like I said, it's been 6 months, so I don't really remember it all that well. But yeah, Perrin, he develops his wolf powers. He starts to he develops a relationship with the wolves, but doesn't really know if he wants to pursue this or not. He's kind of scared of it. He's seen how the Aes Sedai react to things that they don't know about, and he's a little worried that he's going to be controlled by the tower because of this. Matt. I hate Matt. The community is going to hate me so much for this, but I hate Matt so much. He's an idiot. He's just the biggest fucking idiot in the entire world. Just, like, hey, we're in these ruins of this town where literally dark any creature of the Dark One won't enter because it's so not okay. And then just Matt's like, let me take this dagger, let me be cursed. And then he's cursed and he acts like an asshole because he's cursed. And then yeah, just I don't like Matt. Tom, I love Tom, at least in the first book. He's great. Yeah, I mean, like, how can you not love him? He's an old man who's super sweet, like that Uncle Iroh wise type character. And yeah, he dies and breaks my heart. I Guys, don't worry. I actually know what happens. I've read further into the books, so we're just gonna say he dies for now, and it's really sad. I actually cried because I was like, no, Tom, I love you, don't, no. Big scenes that stand out to me is, the first one is Camelin. I loved Camelin, like, everything, like the I mean, I don't want to say the Game of Houses, because that doesn't exist in Camelin, supposedly. Yeah, sure, let's go with that, more gays. Anyways, but yeah, Rand climbing up the wall to try and see Logain, and him falling into the garden and meeting up with Elaine and Gawain. Like, I love that interaction. I love Elaine. I love Gawain for right now. And yeah, I like them. I like that interaction. I love Rand meeting Morghese, being like, wow, I thought Elaine was beautiful. Morghese, brain explode. But and then, like, him constantly, like, the way he acts and the way he's just like, I have to act like a knight and be noble, and it's just, I love it 100%. And the Aes Sedai there being like, hey, I noticed something about him. And, like, the one thing that I love about the entire series, is how well it foreshadows things and how it hints at things that could be. And it's so cool. Like, you have the entire scene with Min, where Min's talking to Rand and is telling him about his future and how he's not gonna marry Iguain, which at this point in the books, I was like, what? No, like, they're childhood friends, that they have to, right? They have to. And how she's like, yeah, you're gonna have 3 wives, and it's like, what the fuck? But it's the whole entire 3 wives foretelling is my favorite one, because as you're reading the books, it is such an interesting thing to look out for, to be like, is he gonna marry this character, or is he gonna marry this one? And I love that. I love speculating so much. Yeah, like, I'm trying to remember if you hear a little bit of Lan's story yet, or if that's after, in the second book, where they start talking about that. You also get a little bit of Nynaeve and Lan's romance going towards the end, which is really cute. But yeah, I like that. God, what's his name? The captain there. He seems to be an interesting character. Like, a little bit generic in that, like, he's the standard general. But yeah. So yeah, the actual, like, ending. So they're going to the Eye, and they have to go through the Blight. And this, I don't know how much of this is actually my opinion being formed, or how much of this is my brother and sister talking about it, where they're traveling through the Blight, and how tense that scene is, and how it's like, oh, are they gonna, well, obviously they're gonna make it. There's another 13 books after this one, so they're gonna make it through the Blight. But Robert Jordan does such a good job of being like, all right, like let's slowly build this and have it that it's slowly getting worse and worse and worse, and monsters everywhere. It's so dark and creepy and and desolate, and I love it. It's such a good scene. And then you get to the Eye, and it's beautiful. It's lush. It's paradise. Um, and you they travel through. They meet the Green Man. You have Loyal. Oh God, I haven't talked about Loyal and how amazing and beautiful Loyal is, because Loyal, like, what more do I have to say? And I mean, Loyal just wants friends. Like, that's the reason he's so lovable. He doesn't want anything other than friends at this point. And yeah, like, I love him, and he's just like, let me sing to the trees. And when the show comes out, I'm so excited for that. Like, singing to the trees and Loyal singing, and just I almost feel like that is gonna be like music that I listen to go to sleep, because Loyal is gonna have this beautiful deep voice and he's gonna sing in it, and I'm just gonna be like, oh, perfect. Yeah, but so yeah, you have that, and then you have it that they go to the pool, and everyone, well, you so the first seal of the Dark One's prison, they get that, it's broken. That's such a huge reveal and crazy. Then they get this horn, which, that, like, again, I will talk about it throughout this entire, like, every single review. Foreshadowing, foreshadowing, foreshadowing. It's all fantastic throughout this entire series. So you have that, and then you have the Forsaken show up, and Ishmael. I'm terrible with names. I'm terrible with remembering things. So I'm gonna get torn apart a lot probably for not remembering things. But the two Forsaken show up, and everyone gets scattered. Nynaeve almost gets raped, and like, that's terrifying. And like, I talk about it a lot, how the end of the first book is when you realize this isn't a typical fantasy. Like, you're not gonna sit there. Is, in my opinion, the entire first book feels like it's the tense moments aren't very tense, because you feel like, oh, the heroes are gonna make it through and they're gonna succeed. That's how it feels. And then you get to this ending where it's like, oh my God, Robert, like, what are you doing? You literally are having a character be sexually assaulted. Like, God, that's heavy as hell. And yeah, and then you have Rand, who suddenly starts teleporting places and has power. And God, I love that ending. Like, I love Rand showing up to the Battle of the Blight that all the other members of Shia Ghul are participating in, and just fighting I want to say Baratheon, because for some reason Game of Thrones is on my mind. But Beelzemon, that's his name, Beelzemon, and defeating Beelzemon with Balefire, I think it is. Even though we don't know about that yet. But yeah, you just have Rand going on this absolute journey of destroying everything wrong, and basically winning the battle there, and like, that's such a cool scene. Oh, I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited for the series. And then yeah, you have him show back up and defeat the Forsaken. I think it's Rand. I don't think it's Moraine. I don't know. I can't remember. Like I said, my memory is bad. And then you have him return to Shia Ghul. So the first book so far, I'll I'll kind of try and do rankings of this as I go. So I guess I can't rank them yet. So the first book has to be number one right now because it's the only book I've reviewed. Um, so it's kind of hard to review this independently after reading the next three because this series does get considerably better as you go. Um, yeah, and so I I gotta say 8 out of 10. Like, it's the first book I have read probably in 3 years, probably longer, because even the books that I had to read for high school, I didn't even read. So, yeah, I gotta say, like, to make me get up and actually feel motivated to read, like, it has to be a really good book. And so, like, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, definitely solid. And I'm probably only saying that because I've read three more of them, and I know those ones are so much better. Otherwise, I would have probably given it a 10 out of 10. All right, so thank you for watching. Be sure to check me out here. I sometimes stream on Twitch, same username, just Nate, or just underscore Nate underscore D. I'll leave a link in the description, as well as check me out on my brother and sister's podcast, Another Turning. We talk about the Four Kings fan episode, Shadows Rising. Yeah. Um, and yeah, I'm a little awkward. This is just my first video, so seriously, thank you for watching, and have a good night or day or whatever time it is.